Okay, so we're going to keep going on with the sermon series that we've been doing online finding Jesus, and so the whole theme of this has been, finding God in troubling times and whenever we're dealing with just like hard emotions. And so I will give some kind of key to someone that can name the first 3 weeks of this series. You guys, like, what did we talk about? What?
Jesus, he's all 3 answers.
Yes. What?
Dominating. Holy Spirit.
Oh, all right, you got your notes.
Oh, the Trinity.
Yes, there's one emotion we talked about in that first week, though, more than just like God with us. Do you remember? She doesn't know. That was the main point on it. God is with us.
I don't think I wrote it down.
Huh? Of what? Points?
No, I don't know.
What were the first 3 weeks of our series so far? So we're on week 4. So, all right. I mean, the main point really was God with us, but we talked about like God with us in our disappointments. So that's okay. I'll give that to you. You had it. All right. So yeah. So our first week we talked about how we can find God in our disappointments, and Andrew talked on the disciples on the way to Emmaus. So after Jesus had died and has resurrected, but they just talked about their disappointment, and they thought like this is not the way he would be, but then God was with them the whole time as they were walking. And so like God is there even in the moments when we feel disappointed. Loneliness, we talked about Elijah, how he was the only prophet, and he felt very alone in that, but we saw how God provided for him and was with him, and it directed him to people that were also prophets, that he would help raise up to create more prophets, so he wasn't alone. And then 2 weeks ago, Graham talked about uselessness and talked about David and how before he became king, he was already anointed, but he wasn't king yet. And so just that time frame where he felt like he was probably useless, but he needed that time frame to be able to become king. So today we're going to be talking about another just like difficult emotion that most of us have probably experienced, which is grief. And grief I know is a hard one. We usually think of it in the sense of someone died and I'm grieving. Is that kind of how you think about grief? Well, grief is a little bit more than that. It's not just I lost this family member or I lost this friend and I'm never going to see them again. Grief is really just anything that breaks our hearts. It's something that we might lose. And so there's a lot of things that we could grieve. It's, yes, if we lose a family member or a friend that dies. It could be a friend that moves away. We grieve that relationship we had with them and they're no longer living in the same city and they're living in a different city or state. Like, we can grieve that relationship. We can grieve things that don't happen, like these dreams that we have. When I was in college, I know that I really wanted to be an officer in my sorority, and I ran for one twice, 2 different positions, and I didn't get it either time. And I grieved not having that. And I was excited for the people that did get it, but me not having it, I had all these hopes for it and all these dreams for it, and I didn't get to have that. And so for us, maybe, or for you guys, it may be like the soccer team you really wanted to be on, or the show choir, or the choir you wanted to be in, or the spot in orchestra or band that you wanted to be in, like this spot that you're just dreaming to be in, you don't get it. We can grieve that dream that we want, or grieve the fact that we don't get to do the summer activities that we wanted to do, of camp and mission trip. Like, we can grieve that. And I know right now a really big one for me is like I'm really grieving just the state of what our country is in. Not only like the coronavirus, but even just like grieving for my my Black friends and for my cop friends and just everything that's going on right now. Like, I'm grieving for them. So grief is not just as simple as I'm grieving this person died. It is heartbreak. It's further than just sadness. It's something that is breaking your heart. So it's very important for us to figure out how can we find God in that? Because if we get stuck in it, we can lose ourselves in our grief if we don't try to find God. So that's why we're going to talk about that today. And we're going to be looking at the story of Ruth. If you want to follow along in scripture on your phone, we're going to be in the book of Ruth. We're only going to really focus on the first chapter, but there's 5 chapters in this story. It's a really short book, but really good, so I encourage you guys to go read it. But the theme of Ruth's story is God's kindness being shown through someone to someone else that's in a hard situation. That happens multiple times. So we're going to focus on just one instance, but it's really God's kindness and goodness being shown in someone's grief, but really just any kind of hard circumstance. So in the book of Ruth, right now where we are is Israel and Judah are separated, but there is no king. There are just judges right now that are leading the nation. And Ruth is not an Israelite. She's actually a Moabite. And she marries an Israelite that the family just happens to be living in Moab. And in the nation of Moab, they don't follow our God. Like, they know of our God, because really anyone that interacted with Israel knew about God, but they didn't follow him. They actually followed a god named Chemosh and other gods. So they had multiple gods. So Ruth marries a man that is an Israelite, and right at the beginning, like in the first 5 verses, it picks up real quick, and like all of the men die. Like, Ruth's husband dies, Ruth's brother-in-law dies, and Ruth's father-in-law dies. So like they all die, and it's just 3 women left: Ruth, her sister-in-law, and her mother-in-law Naomi. So Naomi and Ruth are kind of the main characters in this book. And so the time frame that we're in, women didn't really have a place where they could take care of themselves. And so they had to have a husband or be with their father in order to survive, like to make money and to eat, to survive, anything. So Naomi here is with 2 daughters-in-law and can't take care of them. She can't take care of herself and she can't take care of them. So she basically tells them, go back home. Like, go back to your families and I will go to mine. And so that's where we're going to be picking up in Ruth 1, in verse 6, reading through verse 9. It says, "Then Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had blessed his people in Judah by giving them good crops again. So Naomi and her daughters-in-law got ready to leave Moab to return to their homeland. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she set out from the place where she had been living, and they took the road that would lead them back to Judah. But on the way, Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, go back to your mother's homes, and may the Lord reward you for your kindness to your husband and to me. May the Lord bless you with the security of another marriage." And she kissed them goodbye, and they all broke down and wept. So Naomi's really just trying to do like the right thing here of saying like, okay, I can't help you with anything. I can't offer anything for you. You guys should just go back to your families, marry another man, like take care of yourselves. I wish the best for you. Thank you for the lives we had. So it seems like they've been together for a while. Like Ruth has been in this marriage and in this family for a while, considering they just wept when they were like, I don't get to see my mother-in-law anymore. Like they wanted to be with her so bad. So they argue with her and they push back and they're like, no, we're staying with you. We're staying with you. And Naomi pushes back again, saying, no, you're going home. And the sister-in-law of Ruth decides that she's going to go, but Ruth stays. So that's our next passage of verse 14 through 17. And this is really our key verse for tonight. The reason why Ruth decided to stay. So we read, and again they wept together, and Orpah, so that's Ruth's sister-in-law, kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. But Ruth clung tightly to Naomi. Look, Naomi said to her, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. You should do the same. But Ruth replied, don't ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us. So in these few verses, this is a really huge step for Ruth. I mean, really just anybody. Because what Ruth did here is basically just get rid of almost her entire identity. I mean, she's a Moabite. That's what she's known as. She is a Moabite. She is but she's with those people. She has these gods that she was raised with. And in this passage, she basically just said, like, no more. Like, Naomi, your people are my people. Your God is my God. And this is a huge step in faith and just proves so much, like, the connection that Ruth had with that family. Something special happened there. Like, something special happened in that family to where Ruth went to the point of saying, you know what? Like, this God that you follow, he will be my God from now on. These people that are your people, they will be my people from now on. Like, I will no longer be a Moabite. I want to be an Israelite. Like, that's a big, big commitment. It's a huge step. And I think it proves so much what can help us in our own grief. Because think about the grief that Ruth is going through. Like, she lost her husband. She lost her father-in-law and her brother-in-law. She now lost her sister-in-law. Her mother-in-law is trying to tell her to go away. She has no home. She owns nothing. Like, she has nothing. Like, she has something is keeping her there. Like, she is in grief, but something is keeping her there. And it is God's, like, goodness. I mean, she sees Naomi's faith. She clearly saw the family in their faith. And God's goodness and God's forgiveness and faithfulness and grace. And she wanted it. She wanted it bad. She's like, okay, this is the thing that's going to get me through this grief. I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to follow your God. And in my own grief that I've dealt with, this gives me hope. Because I think it just proves that God's goodness is in all things. It's in our hurt, it's in our pain, he's in our grief, like he's in our joy. Like, God's goodness is everywhere. So I think we can learn from Ruth in this, that when grief comes, one, where are we searching? And to have faith in the fact that, like, you know, God is good, and I'm going to step out in faith and believe that. So that's exactly what Ruth did. She stepped out in faith. And so I know, looking at things that I grieve, places where I can find God's goodness. I know whenever I'm grieving a family member who's passed away, like I know last fall my grandfather had passed away, and goodness that I saw was the things that he taught me that I get to carry on, and the comfort that God showed me through the people that surrounded me. Like, God was good in that moment. As much as I was grieving my grandfather, he was good in that moment. And so we can find goodness, his goodness in our grief of a lost family member. Or whenever a friend moves away and we grieve that because we feel like we've lost this friend, I focus on the good that could come from what they are going to be doing there. Like, one of my best friends lives in Memphis, and I miss her so much, but I fully believe God is doing something incredible to the people there because she is there. So it's having our focus on, like, how is God going to use them for good whenever we have a friend that moves away. I know whenever I have a loss of, like, a dream or a special milestone moment, which is a lot for a lot of people right now, you know, finishing freshman academy and then going off to which maybe some of you guys are glad to finish freshman academy, I don't know. And then you're going off to the high school. I know we're seniors with graduation, or 8th graders moving up to high school. Like, there's a lot of milestones we missed, or the wanting to go to Wisconsin this summer. I'm missing that. I'm grieving that. Like, I'm sure you guys are too. But the good that can come out of this is, what is God going to do with us right now here in Broken Arrow? You know, like, what goodness can come to what we are, where we are, when we are? Because God can do very good things through us here. And I know right now, grieving for where our country is, and grieving for my Black friends and my COG friends, like, I'm grieving for what's going on, but the goodness coming out of this is the fact that a voice is finally being heard. And so, like, good change can be coming. So Ruth shows us that good can come out of our grief, and good can come out of our loss, because God ultimately is good. Like, that is our focus, is that God is good. And I love that Pastor Larry ends every day's message with, all the time God is good, and God is good all the time. So we're going to break up into small groups. Hopefully you guys can also hold on to that hope and know that, like, grieving is more than just, like, someone passing away. Like, the grief that we feel and the heartbreak we feel is real. And I know with, like, the junior and seniors, we talked about how sometimes we feel like we're just being over dramatic about something, but if it's breaking your heart, it's breaking your heart. Like, if you're grieving, you're grieving. If you're sad about something, you're sad about something. And so this is the hope that God's goodness is going to be there. So we're going to talk about this in small groups, and just talk about, like, how we can deal with our grief and loss, disappointments, behind God's goodness ultimately. So I'm going to pray us out. We're going to have the boys meet in the breezeway over here, and the girls, if we want to meet, basically back like Andrew is. Okay, so wear your mask when you're getting up and walking. You can take your chairs. We have to stay 6 feet distant and everything, but yeah, so we're talking about stuff. All right, so if you guys will bow your heads with me. Jesus, thank you again just for the time for us to be in each other's presence, God, and build this community back up. God, I know that we're so thankful for the technology that we had during this time where we had to stay home, but we have so much joy that we can be here in this parking lot in our place that we call home. So God, just be with us as we continue on, and know that there's a lot of grief going on in the world and just stuff going on in our lives that ultimately your goodness can shine through. So please be with us and help us seek your goodness and be the one that can show a faith to someone else that God, they choose you and take that step out of faith. So please be with us as we open up in small group and just go on throughout the week. And I pray. Amen. I forgot how quiet y'all usually are.